Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Code drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Maybe clip the best parts of each different stream, and after a few days, upload them as more of a montage, fewer parts. See, I've been getting a lot of suggestions recently. Here's a suggestion someone came up with. On this very show, this podcast, okay? Let's say I have a topic that's discussed. Like, let's say there was a big news story today. Like the other day we covered the Microsoft buyout of Activision Blizzard going through. And the suggestion was, could you highlight just that story, split that out as a short, or if it can't be a short because it's too long, just a separate video, and title it appropriately. That way people can find it if they want to find out your thoughts on that topic. I like that idea. But here's what a lot of people don't realize. The YouTubers you're thinking about who do that kind of stuff are huge. Okay? Because there's a lot of YouTubers who do this. You're right. Like you're saying, why not clip shorts out of all your content and upload a lot of separate shorts that are topical? I get what you're saying. However, those YouTubers literally don't do it themselves. They have employees. They have teams of people. They highlight their stuff and make highlight reel content or edited content of a story. People do that for them. They sit there and they pay employees to do it. I'm not shitting you. It's true. They don't do it themselves. For them, they're the talent, right? They sit there in front of the camera. They do the content. And then someone else is the person who edits, chops up, uploads, does all that work behind the scenes. For me, I'm a one-man show. I'm a small-time guy. Take a look. What, I got a few hundred viewers right now. I'll have a few hundred viewers on this stream later. I don't have the time, effort, or excuse me, the time, means, or resources to do that. I'm doing it all myself. I don't make enough to hire employees. I can't have an employee. I can't afford to hire someone to do that for me. Right now, a lot of the stuff on my streams is volunteer work, right? So that's the thing. If I were some big YouTuber who had countless amounts of time and effort to, or I keep saying effort because it's not effort. The effort is there. If I had time to do it, I would put in the effort for sure. My issue is I'm here already 6 days a week, full time, starting at 10 a.m. all the way through with a 2-hour break for dinner, but then all the way through past 10 p.m. 6 days a week. I'm in this office for 12 plus hours, already streaming and working and uploading. I just don't have the additional time to do that stuff. If I could afford employees, I would pay them to do that. I really would. I would think that would be very beneficial. You could split out content and highlight, like you said, a highlight reel of the best moments of what's happened, and that could get people excited for the content, right? Or the highlighted story. It's the hot topic that came out today that I talked about on the podcast, so that way you don't have to sift through the podcast to watch it. I think these are great ideas. They're just not realistic for someone of my size and scope. You know? If I were a big guy, I would do that. If I could afford employees, I would do that, for sure. This is something I actually thought about back in the day. Not even lying, before this was even on YouTube, back in the day, you know, we're talking over 10 years ago, when I used to be very popular and rolling in money. I told people I was going to hire maybe a couple employees to do the uploads, to title them, to put them in playlists, to babysit. Because now you don't have to do that anymore. But back in the day, just uploading to YouTube, you needed to babysit uploads. They didn't even work. You had to sit there and make sure they worked. And if they didn't error, you had to restart them and everything. And it was a hassle, man. It was. And I was thinking about getting an office space where I was going to have maybe, you know, a few employees who would help me with filming and doing content and all kinds of stuff like that. But it just never happened. Why? Because YouTube just kept changing. You know, by the time that I grew to the point where maybe I could afford stuff like that, YouTube was moving on from raw content style players like me and was moving on to edited style content, moving on to React content, moving on to drama style content, which I didn't want to do. Yeah, I've never been about that kind of drama stuff and shit like that, but that's what they were doing. So I was already losing prominence. By the time that I have the means and the money to do it, it wouldn't have worked. I was already on a downward decline for the kind of content that I wanted to do, you see? So I understand what you're saying. I appreciate your suggestion. It's not realistic for me. I'm already overworked. I'm already here 6 days a week. I spend time with my wife 1 day a week. 1 day a week, we do stuff together. That's it. I'm here 6 days a week full time in this office. I don't have more time to do edited content, to do montages, to rip pieces out of streams and do clips. I wish I did. The other thing a lot of people don't realize too, which I talked about the other day, YouTube's system for doing that kind of stuff is awful. So let's say right now I do this 5-hour stream, okay? What happens is this becomes an archive stream on YouTube. You cannot actually do stuff with that stream for about 12 hours because YouTube doesn't process it yet. So you have to have it sit there for like half a day, and then it'll become a proper video that you can skim through, look at parts, cut parts out. It doesn't even work right away. If you try to do it, it freezes, it locks up, it won't let you quick play, it won't let you skim through the timestamps. It doesn't even work right until like half a day later. So now imagine, oh, I just did an awesome podcast with these topics that I'd like to do a highlight montage of. I can't even do that. I have to wait half a day before I even have a chance. You see what I mean? So it's just, it's not, sadly, it's not viable. Maybe sometime in the future, all this will change, right? Technology will change and all this stuff happens. That'd be amazing. If everything was instant, you could edit on the fly. If it took me, if it was a matter of just putting in 10, 15 extra minutes a day, I would fucking do that in a moment's notice. I would be putting clips, I'd be doing montages, but the problem is it's just not, it's work. It's tons of time consuming work. I don't have the time. I wish I did, you know, but being a one-man show like I am, it's a lot different than a lot of people, because again, a lot of people compare me to my contemporaries, but every time they compare me to someone, it's someone way bigger. It's someone who gets way more views, way more, you know, make way more money, and all of a sudden they have other people doing it. They're not just sitting there doing that themselves, you know? Okay. I got the drip go. 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 Can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.